With Mike Helmig, rather, stepping down. Great guy. Jesse Brewer's here as Boone County Commissioner. Saw him in the background there during the passing of the ceremonial keys, if you will. Jesse, how's life?
Hey, Slody, how you doing? I'm good.
I'm good.
Waiting for all the rain and cold.
Well,
and our Reds to do something.
Well, they did last night, man. I bit the bullet last night. I was flipping around going, in the past, I've got YouTube TV. I could never get Reds games because of the Bally Sports app. The whole thing was stupid. And finally, with FanDuel, I got it. It's like $20 a month. Great. I log in. I wasn't really paying attention. I turn it on. It's 12-0. So it was pretty good last night.
Yeah, that was a good night last night. We'll see. It'll be a long season. I'm optimistic. We all are.
I'm optimistic.
The good thing about being a Reds fan, as I tell my friends, is, we're usually out of it by the All-Star break, so we get the rest of our summer to enjoy without the antagonizing, get to the playoffs to get a ticket away. We get to enjoy August. We'll
see. I mean,
this year we'll see.
You got Texas, not very good last night. We'll see what happens later tonight, and then a day game tomorrow, and then off to Milwaukee. And Milwaukee's really struggling, so make it pretty good here this first month for a change. Let's jump into the departure of Mike Helmig. I know he's ill. He had been doing this since 1997 as sheriff there in Boone County, right?
Yeah. Before that, I talking to him. He's been a member of the department since 1983, I believe. He has 43 years of service there. He was involved in he led the way in merging of the county police. Kentucky, some counties had a county police department. There's only like 2 or 3 left in the state, but they used to be really prevalent, and the sheriff's department would run separate. So he was instrumental in merging those services years ago, which, created efficiencies for the taxpayers.
Right.
And it's been a great thing. Helmig is a legend. He's a quiet titan. I go around the state a lot for, different conferences and other things. And the Boone County Sheriff's Department is, as well as the Florence Police Department, they're both very highly well respected and known around the state for everything they do. And it's nice to have that right here in our backyard.
Yeah, I mean, he's a cop's cop, but he's very, kind of struck me as kind of like a background guy. He's getting the job done. He's very efficient. He's not getting public accolades. He's not giving big press conferences unless it's necessary. He's not like Sheriff Richard Jones of Butler County. Let's put it that way. Jonesy.
No, he is not. He's a man of few words.
He really is.
But of many actions.
Yes.
And many actions. And Les Hill, who is now the sheriff, he's been with them pretty much since the beginning. I think Les has been there 35, 36 years. Before that, he was with the auxiliary, which back then the auxiliary police were the volunteer police force. When you have low populations, they're pretty popular over in Ohio. Not so much over here in Kentucky anymore. But so Les has got 40-something years in with the agency, and he's been there with them every step of the way. So it was good to see that good succession of leadership there. I tell people all the time, in Boone County, the only people that really complain about the sheriff's department are the unwilling customers. So
that's the case. I bet you in Jonesy, that's probably true to some degree in Butler County because he's adored
right,
there.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks of you, and he doesn't care. That's why I love Richard Jones. He does his own thing. So Les Hill is going to take the reins over starting when?
Immediately.
Okay.
And he will be he's appointed for the remainder of the term, which has got a couple years left. And then it'll be up to him to decide what the next step of his career is, should he seek to run for the office or whatever. That's going to be his decision to make at that time.
As a county commissioner, Jesse Brewer in Boone County, with the new sheriff, and what are the issues that face? Are the issues that face you in Boone County much different than what faces here in Ohio or Cincinnati in particular?
The biggest issue facing the sheriff's department over here is one of them staffing. It's a profession that people just don't want to do anymore. Now, we're pretty fortunate that, I always equate it to, we're kind of like the Yankees. Mm-hmm. And around the state of Kentucky, we try to take talent from other smaller municipalities of people that are proven to be good officers, and we try to recruit lateral entry to move up here and come up here. But even still, it doesn't always work out. And the agency is the profession is facing challenges from getting good qualified people that want to do it. pay is up, but I think we start off at entry level deputy around $60,000 a year, which for the agency is not bad, but the issue becomes like, who wants to do the job?
Yeah,
to get unfortunately for us out here, Boone County residents, they love their law enforcement. If you look at their Facebook page, you'll see every day people like dropping by, dropping off lunch,
sure.
Thanking them for this and that. And that's not like that. Another area is really close by. I get comments from my friends that work in other cities and, places like Covington and Cincinnati. And they're like, yeah, we see what goes on out there. They don't get the same love from their residents as we get. But, that's still, it's a tough profession to be in. Just take out the dangers of it. The shift work, you get a young officer working second shift, 2 to 10 o'clock, when he's got young kids in school or she's got young kids at home and they're missing out on, holidays, weekends, dinners. I mean, it's a tough family life. On top of the added dangers that, what's going to happen that day when you go to work. Yeah,
no question about it. And Boone County, certainly you've got a feeling of urban out there, but I know you're working really hard to change housing policy there, making it more attractive and trying to get more housing stock, like everywhere. They're trying to do it everywhere, basically, but trying to make Boone County that magnet for people to go, well, there's places to live. It's a little more affordable. The tax rate's a little bit better, despite the god-awful traffic. I've got to go to the Ohio side, or maybe you don't. If you have a job in Kentucky, you don't have to deal with that. But crossing over the Ohio River, a lot of people choose that option there. I know you've been working behind the scenes feverishly to make sure that there's enough housing to go around. In particular, what are you facing there?
Housing is a hot topic everywhere right now, and it's the flavor of the month, as I like to call it in county government, right, or any government. It's an issue now. It's been an ongoing issue for quite some time. There's not enough. And there's not going to be enough for a while. So, I've been involved in a lot of different housing task force policies, and government's really limited on what we can do outside of local government. Let me rephrase that. Local government is very limited on what it can and can't do as far as like, we can maybe mess with some density, or maybe do some ADUs, which is slang acronym for accessory dwelling units with. You got a detached garage and you build an apartment above it, that would be considered an accessory dwelling unit.
Got it.
And so we could do some things like that, and that's what we're working on. But that's really it's like going to the lake and pulling out a few buckets of water.
Yeah.
Are you lowering the overall lake level? Yeah, but is it noticeable? Probably not. Mm-hmm. So we really need some federal involvement in this housing policy stuff. And that's kind of some stuff I've been working on, coming up with some legislation, hopefully to get attention, at a state and federal level to help with some tax issues and some seller incentives. I remember all too well, I'm sure you probably do too, the 2008 financial crash.
Oh yeah.
And to get buyers off the sidelines, it was, let's throw all the money at the buyers. Let's throw all the money at the incentive money at the buyers. And that mentality is repeating itself. And what they don't understand is buyers aren't the problem. It's getting the people willing to sell. That's the problem. Yeah. And so I'm trying to have those conversations to fix that narrative. And, it's a slow process because, a lot of people in government, this is no secret to you, Slody, but we're not all the brightest bunch. so sometimes it's a little, myself included, there are some really smart people involved, but there's some people that, they don't do this for a living. They don't do this every day. Yeah. And so we really need to understand that. And the policymakers at all levels of government, they don't have the jobs in every different single sector, and so it takes people and stakeholders to in that certain sector to educate them, and it's a challenge. It really is, especially with being pulled 100 different miles in different directions all the time with different issues. So it's something I believe that we're getting there. It's something I believe that the conversations are taking hold, but until we get some federal legislation to really help solve some of these issues. And there's no single silver bullet. Mm-hmm. That's another thing I like to make sure I point out. There is no silver bullet solution for our housing situation. It is going to be a series of smaller incremental solutions. You know, I saw on a headline the other day about the housing secretary, the federal housing secretary, and talking about illegal immigrants possibly receiving American housing benefits in like subsidized housing. And so I know there's been a lot of talk about those type of initiatives to work on that. And politics aside, like it or not, they're going to go somewhere else. So we still have to figure out the overall unit count problem.
And we still need those people. We need those people here for the jobs. The other element of this thing, Boone County Commissioner Jesse Brewer, is the tariffs that are kicking in. We know the 25% tariffs against Canada, for example. You may not know it if you're not in the trades and the business. We get a lot of our lumber comes down from Canada. Mexico is included there as well. And so this is going to add more cost to the housing, and it's going to be more expensive to build, and therefore more expensive to get in those units and those dwellings as the weeks and months go by.
I'm in the middle of building, getting ready to build some flex space on one of my properties, like a warehousing flex space to rent out to landscapers or places like that. And we're pricing out steel instead of wood because of the tariffs and see what the price difference is. It's not much. And so at this point, we may start looking to go some options like that just because it'll last longer and not have any issues and see what it does.
Well,
so you have
it's
a lot
incredible
of
how much. Yeah, it's incredible how much the price that. I mean, you go into your big box retail and a sheet of plywood's $50-$60. You don't get much of a break if you're one of the big guys. I suppose you're Ralph Dries or something like that. You're getting a little bit, certainly a better price. But you start looking at lumber. I remember right after, as you do, right after COVID, and we saw what happened there. And a 2x4 was like. I think a gold bar was cheaper than a 2x4 back then, but hopefully we don't go back to those days.
You know, you're trying to be of a comedian. I saw one time, talking with the housing prices and the lumber. If you want to curb or you want to control something, just make what they need to support more expensive. And so the comedian was saying, you want to control guns? Don't worry about the gun legislation. Just make the price of bullets too expensive. You can't afford to shoot it. Yeah. And it's kind of the same mentality, right? You want to control housing costs, or you want to make it harder to build. Just put a tariff on something, or do whatever you got to do, or raise the cost of one particular key component, and the costs go through the roof. So it's a challenge that we all have. We're not making any more land, and the housing's getting harder and harder to come by. So we've got to figure this out. It's going to be a solution that needs to be a nonpartisan, non-political, just a people solution to solve this problem.
Yeah. Boone County Commissioner Jesse Brewer on the show. We're talking a little housing. We started talking about Mike Helmig, the sheriff there since 1997, is stepping down because of health reasons. And Colonel Les Hill has been appointed as the man to take them into the future there. So I also noticed too, you got a Publix. So congratulations there. You got a grocery store in Boone. People are losing their mind over Publix.
We're getting 3 of them. So that was the first of 3 to open on Richwood Road, which is, if you've ever been to Publix, the key lime pie, that's what one of the signature items are. But we're getting another one in Florence and another one in Union, and it's bringing some competition to the area, which is good. Yeah. Competition, free market's always good. Options are good. Publix is a well-ran, clean store. If you've ever been to the Southeast, that's where they, I always break down the country geography by what conference they're in. The Southeastern Conference. So if you've ever been to the SEC, you've been to a Publix, right?
No, you're in Kentucky. You're in the SEC. What are you talking about? Yeah,
we're in the North SEC North.
Yeah, SEC North Division.
SEC North.
Yeah, we have friends in Florida, and they've got a Publix. That's their grocery store, and I've been there, and it's everything we've had has been phenomenal. So that's a good addition. So you're getting not 1 but 3 in Boone County as you try to.
We're getting 3 of them here. Lexington's already got one opened up, I believe. So they're coming up through this way, which hey, welcome. Now all we need is a Buc-ee's a little closer, and we'll be set. I went to a Buc-ee's recently for the first time. I went to a Buc-ee's. When I was down in Mammoth Cave last week.
Right.
And we decided to stop at a Buc-ee's, and I had the brisket barbecue sandwich, and it was smack your mom good.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
incredible.
Buc-ee's is
legit.
Buc-ee's is incredible. I would take the family out to dinner to Buc-ee's. It sounds weird to go to dinner to a gas station, but don't knock it until you try it.
Well, we were driving back from, I forget where we were, but we're driving back. I know the one you're talking about there in Kentucky. I'm like, let's stop at Buc-ee's on the way back. So we're driving back. All of a sudden, we're looking, and there's cars pulled over the side of the road on 75. We're like, what the hell is there something going on? There was a quarter-mile line off the interstate exit to get to Buc-ee's. I said, well, you know what? I'm sure it's a good brisket sandwich, but I'm not going to find out today. We kept on driving. Jesse Brewer, Boone County Commissioner on this show. All the best, buddy. Thanks again for jumping on. Be well.
Hey, thanks, Sloan. Appreciate it.
Take care. There you go. We've got a new